Alright y'all, the iPhone 15, 15 Plus, 15 Pro, and 15 Pro Max have officially been announced by Apple this week, and tomorrow they release. I'm here today with the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which is the model from last year, and it's the one I use. Thankfully, Verizon gave a solid trade-in deal for my previous phone, which is the iPhone XS, which is pretty old, but they gave $700 for it if I traded up to this. So it was time for a new phone, and I did make the upgrade, and here we are. Now that the new iPhones have been released, we can do a little comparison and see, is it really worth the upgrade to the iPhone 15 series? And I would say as a TLDR, that if you have an iPhone 13 or 14 series phone, I don't think it's worth the upgrade. But if you have a 12 or older phone, then I do think it is worth the upgrade. Or if you're just with a different Android or Google or etc. phone that you'd like to upgrade to iPhone 4, then it's worth it. But yeah, I will not be updating this for the next 2-3 years probably, because I think this is significant and efficient. So in terms of the actual differences, let's start with the 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max models. These are the higher end versions of the 15 lineup, and they usually are reserved for some of the more premium features. The 15 Pro starts at $1,000 and the 15 Pro Max starts at a little bit above that. I have the Pro Max of the 14 version, and I'll do some comparisons with this phone. So physically first, let's see what is the actual tangible difference you can see. And one is that the 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max have USB-C now. And that's solid because Apple's computers and iPads have been using that for years. And it's awesome that now you don't need that lightning cable anymore. You can just use the same cable for everything, including your Android phones. Another good thing about this is that you can, if plugged into a USB-C with this phone, you can instantly save your videos that you're taking a video of into an external hard drive. And that's nice because you don't have to do the whole airdrop to your computer type of thing anymore, which is a plus for the new 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max. And for the Pro models, that also means you can use it to do fast data transfer, which the lightning cable, although I would say it's still pretty fast, would not be capable of. Now it'll be faster. So that is pretty cool. Another thing about physical difference is that they now have a titanium perimeter around the body. And this titanium is both stronger than the stainless steel from last year, and it is also lighter. And according to the Apple's website, it's significant enough for you to be able to feel it when you pick it up. That's pretty cool because even when I was comparing the 14 series, I was looking at the 14, 14 Plus, 14 Pro, and 14 Pro Max. The 14 and 14 Plus were significantly lighter than the Pro versions. And the bigger the screen, the little heavier it was. But the Plus, despite being the same size screen as the Pro Max, you could feel it was lighter. Probably because it wasn't stainless steel and glass on the back. Or, well, actually it is glass, but less heavy. So I thought that was pretty neat that they made it lighter for this year. Another physical difference is that this ringer is no longer present. They've replaced it with an action button, and it can still, do the original ringer capability, but you can also modify what it does to include different things, such as a microphone for voice memos, or lighting for your house, or a flashlight. So that's pretty cool. Now, in terms of other physical differences, the inside has a little bit of a physical difference. There is now an A17 Pro chip. It's the first time Apple's used a Pro word in their chip. That is supposed to be faster significantly for games and other things. You also have one more GPU unit. I think that's pretty cool if you like playing games. I don't, so I would never notice a difference if you told me there was a better processor or better GPU performance. I wouldn't notice, and I think most users wouldn't notice either. So that's pretty cool. And another physical difference is that there are new colors now. There are 4 colors, and they look pretty good to me. The black one looks very similar to the black one I have here, and I'd probably go for that color, but all of them look really nice. There's no longer a purple though, so that's key to note. And yeah, that goes for all of the physical differences mostly. The dynamic island is still there. The cameras look still very similar, but there are some notable differences in the camera that we can't really see from the naked eye, but you would probably notice because the 15 Pro Max, just the Max version though, has a 5x zoom instead of 3x. So if you look at my camera right now, there's a 0.5x, 1x, 2x, and 3x zoom. They replaced this 3x zoom with a 5x zoom. And they have 7 lenses total. So if you click on 1x, you could use a different focal length. And I think it's the same for the 2x one. So that is pretty cool. I can't do that here. But I think that's really for the key photographers who really want all of the features. If you get the 15 Pro, you don't get that 5x, you still get 3x, but you still have upgraded capabilities. Now with photos, if you take a photo of someone, you can, after the fact, change it to portrait mode. So that's pretty cool because right now, if you take a regular picture, you can't convert it to portrait mode later. Not in the Apple camera roll at least. So that is a pretty cool upgrade. And as always, Apple's always upgrading their software to have better photos. And that is still the case for the 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max. Another key thing about the 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max is that there's upgraded wireless, so that's better for your data needs, but also it's because there's this new precision feature which allows you to find your friends exactly and pinpoint where they are. So that's really nice because if you have Find My Friends, you'll notice sometimes you look at it and you're trying to find someone, but it's still pretty vague. You still have to look around. But with this, you can pinpoint exactly where they are. And that I can see that being very helpful for example, at a festival concert or a very crowded Costco. And that is pretty nice. I'd say for me, those are pretty much the main differences in the new lineup. And for me, none of them are really emergent enough for me to warrant an upgrade. And I would say the same for 13 users, except for 13 users, you don't have emergency SOS and crash detection services, which 14 and newer have, or 14 Pro and newer have, so 15 Pro also has it. I think that is a pretty nice upgrade, but other than that, the differences are nominal. Now let's go through the 15 and 15 Plus. Now, the 15 and 15 Plus are in their own right awesome phones. And honestly, I would totally be happy with one of those phones too, even though I have the 15 Pro Max or 14 Pro Max in my hand right now. They are the cheaper variants and the more baseline versions of the Pro models, but they handle so much. And this year's 15 and 15 Plus have the same chip as the Pro models from last year. So they're definitely clearly capable of most of your day-to-day activities, including heavy games and editing. Now, one thing to note is that these 15 and 15 Plus models have new colors. And as always, I think they look great. There's a new pink color that looks pretty solid. And overall, they are light phones. And I do like that they are less weighty in your hand. I would definitely go for the Plus or the Pro Max version, the bigger phones versions basically, because not only do you get a bigger screen, but most importantly, you get a bigger battery. And I remember when I was deciding to get this phone, I thought, okay, it's gonna be so big in my hand. Like, will I be able to reach across? And clearly I cannot, but the added battery life is so worth it. Anecdotally, my friend has the 14 Pro and he doesn't have great battery life, whereas the Max version does have bigger battery and thus better battery life. So for that reason, I would recommend the Plus or Pro Max version. They all have 128 gigabytes as a starting model, except the 15 Pro Max. That now starts at 256 gigabytes, which I think does make sense considering it has, bigger phone, bigger capabilities with the 5x zoom. So it does make sense. So I did go with the bigger storage, and I would say only go for that bigger storage if you're an actual photographer or you have a lot of apps. Otherwise, I would say 128 is probably fine for you. And yeah, with other differences, the 15 and 15 Plus now both have Dynamic Island. So that is a solid upgrade. That was only on the Pro versions last year, but now it's on all of the 15s. And it is useful because let's say you're playing music right there. You go to Spotify, you get out when you're playing it, and you'll notice it's still playing right there. And you can hold it down, you have play forward and back. And if you just click away, it'll minimize itself again. Also, the 15 and 15 Plus both now also have USB-C just like the Pro models, and that is a welcome upgrade considering most phones such as Android, most MacBooks, now new computers in general use USB-C, so now you don't have to walk around with two cables, one for your phone and one not. Now you can use the same cable, so that is awesome. I think that is pretty cool. However, I don't think you should upgrade just for that. It's really a very minimal feature that you wouldn't notice too much day to day. It is nice, but not necessary.
And note the 15 and 15 Plus also have precision tracking, so you can find your friends really quickly like this, and it also has the emergency SOS and crash detection.
And other than that, yeah, I'd say those are the main differences between the phones. So in general, the differences aren't huge, but they're nice. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope that it was helpful. Let me know in the comments below, which phone would you want to get? And what color would you want to get? If you have any questions at all, feel free to also ask those. I'm ready to reply. See you in the next video.